What's up YouTube, is Fish Tanks for the win here, or Alex, and I apologise for not doing a video in ages. I've been really busy. So as you will tell, I have totally sort of, well, rescaped this tank. What I did is I got rid of the Kabomba in that corner, and for those of you with an eagle eye, this is actually a fake plant, because my tank is very tall. It's sort of a square tank. It's like my goldfish tank is long, and this tank is neither long or tall really. It's kind of just square. So I needed a plant that would get that high, and obviously these Amazon swords here, they're not even that small. They're fairly small for Amazon swords, I guess you would say, but these are just some other plants here. I believe that's some sort of jungle vow, but I'm not sure. So if you guys know what that is, please give me a shout. So I wanted something to hide the heater and the intake for my fluval, and also what I've just put back in the tank is the CO2 diffuser. I took it out of the tank because it got covered in algae, and I wanted to see how my algae would do without the CO2. I was wondering how the algae would be affected by that, see if it got worse or better. Turns out it got worse, so I put it back. And I thought, now that I've got the shade from that plant, the algae won't grow on it so badly. So I'm going to try with that. Also, I got some new plants, well, not plants, fake plants. I guess this is like a imitation of Glossostigma, I'm guessing. I have tried growing Glossostigma in this tank, and it didn't go too well. At the time I had some loaches, well, those loaches to be exact, because those dojo loaches, golden dojo loaches, are actually subtropical fish. So they can live in water up to about 24 degrees, and then they can live in water down to about 16 degrees. So that goldfish tank is at about 20 degrees room temperature, which is perfect for both the fancy goldfish and the loaches, so they're happy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure what these plants are here. They're quite red. They have really red parts or pink parts, and then they have really green parts. I just picked them up today from my local fish place. I mean, if I go out to the fish place, which is about a 20-minute drive from here, they get their plants from Tropica, and if there's any Americans watching, over here in Europe, Tropica is like the best place to get your plants from. They do tropical plant stuff. Basically, is the dog's bollocks for planted aquariums. These plants here I just get from my local place. She hasn't really got a clue, to be fair. Sorry if you're watching this. I guess she isn't. She doesn't seem the type that would go on YouTube. She has under gravel filters on all her tanks, which isn't the best way to go, in my opinion. Basically, she's got quite overstocked tanks, but nothing too bad. I mean, they've got space, which is good. Decent sized tanks. She feeds them a bit too much, and her plants, she doesn't even know what they are. She just buys them because they look nice, apparently. She doesn't run any CO2 or fertilizers on the tank they're in. She just has a T8 light bulb, which seems about 8,000 K, which, again, wouldn't be what I'd say. The plant bulb in this tank is 4,000 K. It's a full spectrum bulb, so that works pretty well. But still, so I got those plants there and this plant here. I think this is some sort of jungle vow, and apparently this is one of the giant versions. And she said that it would get quite far up this tank. She said it would probably get about 3/4 of the way up my tank, because I told her how tall it was. Yeah, for those of you wondering, it's 50 centimeters tall. I don't know in inches, I'm sorry. I just know in centimeters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And also that's great for like fry to hide in, as is this, because that's great for fry to hide in as well. And so is in there. Like fry, love it in there and in there. So basically, I'm just doing the fry a favour. I mean, all this stuff I've just done is doing the fry a favour. So down there is my big like barrel. Yeah, my room is a total tip. I mean, I don't really compliment the fish tanks with the space around it. There's just a load of like crap on this towel, and that was the ornament that was in the tank, which I got rid of. And to my ancestress's disappointment, because that ancestress loved that ornament. Literally, it was like its little house. It used to spend every waking moment on that ornament. So I'm not too sure where that guy's gonna hang out now. I haven't seen him for a while. Usually he's just stuck to the back wall, so I don't know. Yeah, with these rocks, they were just plastered with algae. What I did is I went and soaked them in hot water, boiling water, for a couple days. And then actually what I did is I was scrubbing at them with a toothbrush, and I thought, hey, I've got a brilliant idea. Why don't I just turn them over? You know, what a stupid idiot. I could have just turned them over the first time without scrubbing them or anything. So I just turned them over, and obviously the bottom haven't got any algae on them because they're not in the light, so I don't really know why I did that. Anyway, this CO2 over here is Aquagrow. Yeah, Aquagrow. By TMC, and it's basically just one of those disposable canisters, and I've just filled it halfway because it's not too well, it's quite late, so in the UK, so my lights are going to be going off in a couple of hours, so I thought I'm not going to fill it because then it will just be unnecessary and choke the fish to death. But yeah, I mean, those fish are loving that plant. They're eating it, which is alright. I don't mind them eating it because it's good for them. Another thing they do, which I love, I love my little fish. They peck at these sponges I've got on the intakes here, and they keep them clean. Like any crap that goes on there, they just eat them straight off. You can see them. Same with that one over there. I just recently changed that one to a blue one that I had from a spare internal filter. It was a sponge that basically was hollow in the middle, and it had for like you could put loose carbon in there, and then the bottom of it was covered. Or it wasn't like the hole didn't go all the way through the sponge, which is good for fluval canisters because the intake is at the bottom as well. Like the strainer is sort of sideways and bottom, so yeah. I buried my airstone so you can't even see it, you just see the bubbles, and I sort of like the effect I've created by burying it. They're slightly larger bubbles and they're slightly slower. I like that. So I'm sorry for the crap that's floating around in the water. You can see it's not clear at the moment because I just did a big water change on this. I did about 50% because I just tested my nitrates and they were about 120 ppm. And you know, I'm sat here wondering, oh crap, why my neon tetra has got fin rot? You know, it's not difficult to tell. These neon tetras have had fin rot, or what I think is fin rot, or either something severely eating their fins. I don't know if you can see that, but their dorsal fins, I think they're called. Yeah, the fins at the back fins basically are just like not ripped to shreds as far as it's gone back to their flesh or anything. They're perfectly healthy, but it's just slightly like nibbled at. So when they're sort of resting, I'm told when fish rest they sort of sink to the bottom of the tank. Maybe my Corydoras and Siamese algae are giving them a bit of a nip, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to happen to my minnow, my little lonely minnow. I don't know, who knows, they're alright. Anyway, that's all that matters. Yeah, so I did a huge water change on this. I'm going to do another water change in about a week's time. Usually I leave it a couple of weeks. Usually I do about 25% every 2 weeks, but apparently I've sort of come to realise that with this stocking level of fish, I need to do more than that. So just to refresh you on what I've got in here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got about 6 swordtails. One of them isn't fully grown yet, and the other one's getting there. So swordtails are actually quite a messy tropical fish, just as goldfish are quite a messy cold water fish. These are sort of messy tropical fish. They produce quite a bit of waste. If you have swordtails, you know that they crap a lot. I've got 10 neon tetras. I've got 2 colour skirt tetras, or rainbow skirt tetras, or whatever you want to call them. They're just dyed versions of white skirt tetras. I didn't know this when I bought them, by the way. I didn't buy them because they were coloured. I would have just bought white skirts, but I thought these were natural, you know, as you do. And then I went home and researched them and found out they had been artificially dyed, which sort of pissed me off a bit, but still, they seem happy. So yeah, 2 of those. I got 3 Siamese algae eaters. a molly, which is always gasping for air. I don't know why. Tank's not too hot. 24.3 degrees centigrade. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I don't know. Yeah, a dwarf gourami, and I know this tank is stocked. Don't tell me, because I know. Oh yeah, 4 corridors, leopard corridors. Sorry, almost forgot. There's one there. Don't tell me this tank is overstocked, because I know that. I know it's overstocked. But tomorrow I'm hoping to go and buy 2 more dwarf gouramis. And if you remember in my first video, I said, hey guys, don't buy dwarf gouramis because they just die from dwarf gourami disease. Well, I'm taking the chance, because these dwarf gouramis are so beautiful. You've never seen a prettier fish, apart from discus. I challenge you to find a prettier fish, because they just look incredible. So I'm gonna take the chance. I mean, this guy, when I bought him, was like bright red, and then his mate died, and I think he lost his breeding colours, as far as I can tell. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this tank, so yeah, I know. And as long as I keep up my water changes, I'm gonna probably replace those 2 little swords with like one big massive sword, like one Dustin style sword, like a huge one. Unfortunately, well, I'm not aware that Dustin ships overseas. Even if you did, the plants would probably get to you pretty crap. So, otherwise, I would order off Dustin's fish tanks, or Aquatic Jungles, because that just looks amazing. If I could, I would go for the whole like $50. Send Dustin your tank dimensions and lights and all that crap, and then he get some plants for you, because that would just be beast. This tank would literally just be like a mini Dustin's fish tank, if that could happen. That would just be amazing. So yeah, that's sort of today's update. Hair algae is more under control, mainly because I just did a water change and sorted it all out. And let me tell you, it takes like 2 hours to do a water change on this bad boy because of all the crap that gets in it. I got sponges to clean, I got gravel to do, I've got algae to sort, a lot of algae to sort, I've got like rocks to soak. You know, there is a lot to do, and besides, I was ripping out plants and putting new plants in and stuff, so, you know. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have 7 swordtails. I forgot that the little baby over there. Yeah, so I know this tank is overstocked. I'm going to be stocking it some more, yay. But I'm going to stop there, because I know when it's cruel. It's not cruel at the moment. I mean, this isn't cruel. I see tanks way more stocked than this. As long as I'm keeping up water changes and nitrate levels aren't too high. I'm hoping by adding this CO2, and I'm also using some plant fertilizer. Let's have a look. It is Tropica, dog's bollocks of plants, plant nutrition. And you can get it with nitrates and phosphates, and obviously I'm not going to do that because I have a lot of fish. So I don't need nitrogen and phosphate, so I just get the one which has like iron and all that sort of good shit in it, and I put that in there. So I'm thinking, with these nutrients, I got a lot of nitrates, I got a lot of phosphates, I got all that sort of crap that I'm adding into the tank. I've got 48 watts T5 high output lighting, which is like full spectrum plant growth bulbs, top quality bulbs in there. With this new 306 filter, it's got a lot of flow on it. Plants like flow, not too much, but they like flow. And with this CO2, I'm hoping that all of those things combined is going to like balance out those nutrients. I'm going to get some really nice plant growth, and that way the algae is just going to be gone, because the plants are just going to be taking all the nutrients. But yeah, my main concern when I bought these plants here and that plant there is just, they're going to be algae farms, because they're not doing anything, they're staying in the same place. You know, this Anubias, which is a slow growing plant, just suffers from it. So I'm thinking these are just going to fail. But I'm hoping with the nutrients under control, I'm going to have a happy tank. So again, sorry for not posting a video. Sorry this video is dragged on and on. If you have watched it to the end, then congratulations. You deserve some sort of award, because I know I drone on a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching. Could you check out my channel, please? Feel free to like this video, comment, give me any suggestions, video ideas, whatever. Any questions you may have. I answered a question from somebody the other day. It was about a goldfish they won from the fair, and they had it in a bowl and stuff. And you know, I just gave them some information and told him about what I have here, and I actually started off with some fair fish, and my fair goldfish is about a foot long now in a pond. So if you do things right, your fair goldfish isn't going to die. It's just a myth that can happen, because people think, oh yeah, you get a goldfish from the fair, it's going to die. Well, yeah, if you keep it in a bowl, it will. Anyway, getting back to saying goodbye. Yeah, feel free to check out my channel, subscribe and everything. Go and check out the other aquatic channels section with some great people like the Rossi Boy, My Fish Care 101, Dustin's Fish Tanks, Corey's Fish Tanks. Some great people on YouTube doing some aquarium stuff. So go check them out. Thank you very much for watching.